Hello, friends. Welcome inside another edition of Talk of Champions. I'm Ben Garrett at Spirit, been on Twitter. We are live here on this Monday, December 8th, 2025. Ole Miss football is now set for the college football playoff. The first national signing period is still underway, and Ole Miss has signed the bulk of its class that it had committed. Some staff stuff going on. Already got some comments in the comments section that we'll get right to. But Zach, man, how you doing this morning? Or not this morning, this afternoon. It's 2 p.m., brother. How we doing?
We're good. We're good. It's look, it wouldn't be a podcast with us if we're not talking about the weather here. But I need some sunshine, man. But one thing that is shining is the Ole Miss football program right now. College football playoff. Ole Miss football. I mean, pretty cool. Sunday was a lot of fun. There wasn't a ton of drama. I think everybody expected to be the 6. I guess I should say no drama for Ole Miss. There was a lot of drama elsewhere. I'm sure we'll get into that. But, I'm excited to be here, talk some CFP, talk a little recruiting, and always good to see you.
Good to see you too, buddy. James Mendoza, 4789. Any possibility that Joe Cox or Charlie Weiss stays? There is a possibility. I'm trying to figure out how the contract piece works because and I think it's true that Charlie Weiss signed a contract with LSU, Ole Miss still believes or has believed and has worked under the assumption that once they got him back in the building, he wouldn't go anywhere. So now he's back in the building. Ole Miss had a walkthrough this morning. And if they are able to secure him, you're talking about a 300% buyout of a $6 million contract. So it would be pricey. That's the debate going on right now. Would it be worth it, or would that be what Ole Miss should do? May be worth it. I don't know. But Charlie Weiss is certainly, there is a chance he stays, to answer your question. Same with Joe Cox, who is back in town as well. They've talked to him about potentially staying. I find that I don't know if I feel good about any of them staying, really. Honestly, Charlie Weiss, Joe Cox, George McDonald. I don't feel really any conviction for any of those guys right now, but I know that's at least what Ole Miss is operating under right now. John David Baker's to interview with Ole Miss. East Carolina offense coordinator has interest from Virginia Tech and South Carolina as well. John David Baker was formerly the passing game coordinator and tight ends coach under Freeze. I mean, it is a weird, unprecedented situation that Pete Golding finds himself in because you're having to build out a staff for a playoff run that starts in a little over a week, almost 2, I guess you could say, because it's December 20th. He's trying to like that. No other playoff team's dealing with that. No one's ever had to deal with that before. So I understand the judgment of bringing the guys back in, because you're trying to maximize this particular window right now. But it does make for an awkward kind of transition as Ole Miss gets this thing kind of set up under Pete Golding.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit of a Freudian slip there. You said John David Baker was with Hugh Freeze's staff. He was with Kiffin.
Oh, did I? I meant Lane Kiffin. Sorry. Got Freeze on the brain, though, because I think Freeze is going to come on the podcast maybe even this week. I've been talking to him. And so that's probably where that came from. But no, under Lane Kiffin. Excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah. Both scumbags that won a lot, and then they showed their true colors. But that's neither here nor there. I
think Freeze is okay. But, Freeze has been good to me, man. I look forward to talking to him if I get to. But, I mean, if anything, Lane's been – whatever the worst version of Freeze was, Lane's been way worse. And that's saying a lot because Freeze will tell you, man, the Twitter antics and stuff was really what led him down the wrong road. And now Lane is worried about everything. Only thing Lane's worried about right now, a light fell. The only thing Lane's worried about right now is it's trying to screw Ole Miss as much as possible. Let me fix this light. You vamp for me for a second.
So JDB, I posted on the board. Golly, the time does not exist. Not with this. It's been a wild month or so, especially the last couple of weeks. But his offenses were pretty good. I didn't watch a ton of ECU football this year, if I'm being honest. Did some diving and looked at it. Pretty good, all things considered. Beat a good Memphis team. 9th in first downs, 12th in third down conversion rate, 14th total offense, 15th in passing, 25th in scoring, 41st in rushing, and 42nd in team passing efficiency. There's some familiarity there with, obviously he was at Ole Miss. Did a really good job at ECU. I think the Pirates have all but resigned to the fact that John David
He's
Baker is going to be moving on, whether it's
He's
Ole Miss,
moving.
Virginia Tech, or South Carolina. And then, yeah, as far as the coaches coming back, I mean, I would say this is just my opinion. I think the only one that I would consider possibly staying on for 26 would be Charlie Weiss Jr. People I have talked to have told me that, people around the building, around the program, and people that make a lot of big decisions and people that matter have said they believe they have a good shot. We'll see. But as far as George McDonald, I think he's going to go back to LSU, and then I think Joe Cox will probably follow him. I don't know what your opinion on this is, Ben, but I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. The people that are freaking out about coaches coming back to be on staff for this college football playoff run, I think it's a little silly to think that they're some kind of LSU spy, or I don't think Pete Golding's bringing anyone back that he has any semblance of a doubt of their character or what their intentions are. You could see it in whenever Pete talks. He makes it very clear this is about the players, this is about the program. I don't think he's going to do anything that's going to jeopardize that. And I've talked to Charlie Weiss before. I've talked to George before. I've never spoken with Joe Cox, but all guys strike me as dudes that are on that same page, guys that want to come back and finish this with the players that they recruited, they coached all year. I don't think this is some like, hey, these, Kiffin's sitting them in here to get in the building and start trying to steal players. Like, first of all, that's already happening anyway. Like, Kiffin's he's already tried to do it. He tried to do it with the recruiting class. He's going to do it with the players that are on the team. But no, I don't expect Charlie Weiss Jr. to get in the quarterback room and start trying to recruit people. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Pete's going to bring people back that he thinks are going to give Ole Miss the best chance to win and put the players in the best position. So I understand, the emotions of, well, you left, like you chose to leave. We don't want you back, but Pete's the head coach. And again, I think he's wanting to put everything but himself first, which, what a revelation. But yeah, I think he's gonna bring back guys that he thinks are gonna work their ass off and try to beat Tulane and then beat Georgia and then beat whoever.
Yes, again, you're tripping. According to Austin Freeman, you're tripping if you think Weiss is staying. He just signed a deal with LSU. I don't think he's staying. I'm just telling you that Ole Miss believes that and has been operating this. If and when they get him back in the building, he ain't gonna leave. That's the way it was put to me. He's now back in the building. I find that still hard to believe because, again, the language itself would make it complicated. Ideally, I think Ole Miss would prefer if Charlie Weiss stayed and be their offensive coordinator, but a 300% buyout on a $6 million deal, that's a lot. And no, it's not Ole Miss. I mean, it's not LSU paying it. Someone else asked that question. Would it be LSU paying that, or would it be Ole Miss in regards to the Weiss buyout? It would be Ole Miss. So I just think the hay's kind of in the barn. It's a clunky, awkward situation. I understand why people are frustrated as well, to be honest with you, Zach, because there's no right or wrong way to react to the situation. It's never happened before. It's completely unprecedented. And someone asked also, why is Lane acting like all this, right? Why, for a place that treated him so well, that why would he be so petty? Because that's how he is. Some would say it's not. I don't know what kind of behavior is it when it's of the streets. Some would say it's that kind of behavior when they're of the streets. But at the very least, he's Regina George from Mean Girls in a 50-year-old SEC head coach's body. He feels like, and he didn't get his way. He was mad about it, so now he wants to burn the whole place down. He's not used to anybody going on offense against him. He's not used to not being in control, or the power dynamic not being dramatically slanted in his favor, including having a pair of highway patrolmen next to his side everywhere he goes. I mean, the bottom line is the dude is petty, vindictive, still very much that person. That's not going to change, and he feels like a scorned ex. Like, all of you should be thanking the good Lord that Lane Kiffin dared to grace you with his presence for 6 years, which is just a crappy way to go. Because again, all Ole Miss wanted to do was love you, and he's trying to do everything he can to rip it apart. So, I'm not really worried about Lane anymore. That's moved on. I mean, he's not the head coach of Ole Miss anymore. The only time that Lane's a problem is when he's trying to poach kids or send coaches into the building for Ole Miss fans thinking that they might have some spies in the building. I think I defer to Pete Golding's judgment here specifically because, again, there's no right or wrong way to handle this here. No one, no one's ever dealt with this before. So for Pete, if he believes that's the best thing for the players and you're trying to capitalize the window, that's what you go with. My question for you, because he's been juggling so many balls in the air, has Pete Golding, is the recruiting piece isn't done. Best I can tell. There could still be some additions. I know there's the February period coming up, but what's kind of where are things? If you had to kind of, first of all, I think they retained 80% of the recruiting class. Lost Corey Barber to LSU, the 4-star wide receiver, J.C. Anderson, the 4-star tight end. I'll be honest with you, that was a player recruit Ole Miss was split on in the building the whole time. He was there, especially for what he was commanding money wise. So. I don't think they view that one as much of a loss, but to be able to keep all the bulk of it together, add some flips, are they done? Or are they going to do more?
I'm not sure. I think probably done, but you never can be too sure. There's always going to be there's going to be some coaching shuffle still. I mean, their jobs are going to open, players are going to follow, players are going to go somewhere else. It's a completely, you said it's uncharted territory for handling this during a college football playoff. Well, uncharted territory for me to try to, predict what Pete Golding's going to do because he's a head coach now. It's no longer just a defensive coordinator. So I don't know. For me, I think it's probably going to be just more portal, barring things opening back up for some recruitments. Like I said, if coaches leave or assistants, coordinators go somewhere else, get another job after the college football playoff, because there's gonna be movement once teams finish out their playoff run. There's gonna be movement. There are gonna be coaches that are gonna leave, players are gonna get in the portal. So and that can affect the high school guys too. So it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that there could be a coordinator that moves somewhere and then a guy asks to get out of his NLI. So, but right now I haven't heard anything about anybody else. Ole Miss has pretty much operated the same way for the last 6 years. And look, I know the head coach is gone, but the bulk of the staff is still in the building. And I think they're going to operate like that. Yeah. I mean, you lose Corey Barber, you lose Ryan Merritt, and you lose J.C. Anderson. And then you add 5-star Jace Matthews, you flip late. So pretty good for Pete Golding in 3 days to retain, like Ben said, a good portion of the class. And then also you get a top 25 class with the late flip of Jace Matthews. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of focus on the game with Tulane next week. I think that's going to be the main priority for Ole Miss. I think Pete Golding has made it very clear that that's what the focus is going to be on. Now, the support staff, the personnel like analysts and the PPAs, those guys are going to be, working the back channels, whether it's recruiting or whether it's the portal. But yeah, I think the program's sole focus is beating Tulane and then moving on to the Sugar Bowl.
I do think that there'll be some resolution as far as some staff hires. I'm still surprised when Keith came on this podcast last week and said in the next day or two you'll see an announcement and people will be excited about something that hasn't happened yet. As far as I know, Kelvin Bolden's in the building and working from the recruiting staff or on his way back. I mean, it's all just an absolute hodgepodge of activity. Austin Thomas, who was Ole Miss's GM, general manager before leaving for LSU, replaced by Billy Glasscock at Ole Miss. Billy Glasscock, who is Lane's guy, went with him to LSU. So Austin Thomas, Ole Miss has had some conversations or at least considerations for bringing him back as general manager. I think that could move fairly quickly. But I think the main things we're focusing on now when you talk about staff, because we don't want to make it so much bigger than it is. You're talking about a handful of spots. You're talking about tight ends coach. You're talking about wide receivers coach. Wide receivers coach is an interesting one because you can leave that open for any number of potential candidates. If it's Derek Nix, should he not get the OC at Memphis job that he's up for or the USM head coaching job? He doesn't want to take a step back, and I understand that. And I don't think he's a candidate to be Ole Miss's OC. So in that way, he's leaving his options open, just as all those coaches for Ole Miss as I thought Pete very aptly put it yesterday, that they had to keep their options open once they were given an ultimatum by Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss WB3DF. Do you think the assistants weren't happy with Lane's ultimatum on getting on the plane? No, they were all extraordinarily freaked out and pissed and annoyed, and that this was their focus. And all of them, in my opinion, were put in a completely impossible situation. Even Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss getting on the plane the very public way in which he was sent off with middle fingers and cuss words, just like Lane Kiffin. I don't put that blame on Charlie. Because the only thing he was guaranteed right in that moment from a head coach who was petty was, well, if I don't get on this, I don't even know if I have a job in 2 days. Some coaches decided not to get on the plane. John Garrison said, I'm not getting on the plane. He re-upped with Ole Miss for 2 years. And maybe Charlie Weiss ends up being the guy long-term. I just don't think that's the case. Is Pete limited to his assistant list? Not necessarily. I just don't think – I think he's keeping it completely focused on what he thinks is the most important, and that's winning in the playoff. That's winning a national championship. I don't feel like, in my opinion, I don't think he feels as the same type of urgency as others or Ole Miss fans and maybe others might feel in regards to filling out the rest of the staff. I think it was a boon then to keep the entire defensive staff. It was a boon to retain John Garrison. I don't think Joe Cox and George McDonald, now back in the building, according to reporting by Chuck Ronsville at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate of On 3, sign up today for $1. That's where I am every day. That's where Zach is every day. He said they're both back to coach the playoff. And Pete put it that way on the press conference yesterday. He's like, look, man, for me, I told all these guys, I'm not talking about 2026. I'm talking about 2025. This is about these players and what's in the best interest of these players. We've been talking about everything but all the wrong things for the last 2 weeks. The least we could do is focus on these players. So I think it takes some good faith in those conversations with those coaches coming back. But by listening to Pete, I think all his only consideration is what's best for Ole Miss right now.
Yeah, and like you said, it was a weird situation, and I don't know, but I doubt Lane told anyone. He was trying to play both sides and act like he was coming back, and the coaches were caught off guard, and for a guy that was allegedly given an ultimatum and didn't like it, then he turns around and does it to his own staff. It's a weird situation to be in as a professional, whether it's a college football coach or what we do, or if you're an accountant or an attorney. It's just it's a weird deal. And I mean, you mentioned Garrison, he stayed. Randall Joyner was not going to go. There's a lot of guys that chose to stay, and I mean, I think
that reporting that we had on the Ole Miss Spirit, when I put out there that Randall Joyner, like initially what I was told was he would be one to follow and keep an eye on, especially if you got an elevated DC title, co-DC title at LSU under Lane. And then I reported on the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate of On 3, sign up for $1, that he wanted to stay stuck to Pete Golding. That absolutely proved to be true. You know what I mean? That's exactly what happened. And I think, the defensive staff, keeping the defensive staff together was critical. And position coaches, they're the new head coaches of their room, especially in the NIL era. I mean, the head coach is the CEO. So in that way, these particular guys for 25, 26 in Ole Miss, they want to finish out with their dude that they've been in it with more than they ever were with Lane Kiffin. Some of these guys in these position rooms don't even never really got to know Lane Kiffin. So, I don't have much of an issue with it, but I do understand why Ole Miss fans are uncomfortable, frustrated, wanting some resolution. I would just beg patience in an unprecedented situation and allow Pete Golding to do what he feels is in the best interest of Ole Miss. And I think everybody that watched that press conference yesterday would agree that's really his only focus. And what a breath of fresh air it is. I agree with you, Pep Rep. What a breath of fresh air that the head coach is wanting the focus to be on the team that's responsible for the accomplishment, not whatever in the world you want to call the Lane Kiffin saga, the keeping up with the Kardashians, for the streets behavior, whatever you want to call it. I think it's nice that we're talking about football. And for the draw, it's Ole Miss versus Tulane in the first round. The winner of that game, if I could pull up the bracket, the winner of that game would get Georgia. I've talked about this with Brad Logan yesterday here for the podcast. We had a full live reaction show. Check that out wherever you get Talk of Champions. wherever you get your podcast. 662-644-4297 is Riverland Roofing, who sponsors us. I want to mention them. They've been so good to us. riverlandroofing.com. The hat I'm wearing, the little house behind me. Few, if any, are doing more for Ole Miss in the name, image, and likeness space. But we talked about in a live reaction show, me and Brad Logan in Talking Champions powered by Riverland Roofing yesterday, this bracket. But I want to know what you think of it. What do you think of Ole Miss's draw?
I mean, obviously the first thing that jumps out is you're potentially going to get 2 rematches. So I thought Ole Miss was going to stay at 6. I didn't think there was any chance Ole Miss was going to move up or down. Maybe the outside shot of maybe getting up to 5, but I think maybe the committee just kept Oregon there because Indiana goes out and beats Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. So that loss at home is to the number 1 team, number 1 overall seed. But no, I mean, I think Tulane's about as good as you can get, right? I mean, you whipped them already at home 45-10. The game was not even remotely close. That was kind of the introduction to Trinidad Chambliss, where he really took charge of the offense and looked really good. He made a lot of big throws. I was actually watching a replay of that game earlier this morning just to kind of re-familiarize myself with Tulane. Yeah, it's an interesting matchup because you've got a team. Both teams lost the head coach. I do not know this, Ben. Do you know, is John Summerall coaching through the playoff?
Yes.
Okay.
He is coaching through the playoff, yeah.
Okay. So you got yin and yang there where one guy bails, the other guy's going to stay and see it through. But no, I mean, I think it's a great draw. And then look, I know people are going to be mad that you have to play Georgia again. But look, it's the college football playoff. Everybody's good. So you're going to have to beat good teams no matter what. And look, Ole Miss matched up as well as anyone against Georgia this year. You score on 5 straight possessions. You don't miss on a third down until like 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Chambliss looked really good in that game. He looked composed. So yeah, I mean, you potentially beat Tulane and then you set up a rematch in New Orleans in the Sugar Bowl. We all know how much Ole Miss fans love going to New Orleans and trying to take over a stadium. So I've been in the building for those kinds of games, and it's a lot of fun. Ole Miss people like going down there. So yeah, I mean, I think the draw is it is what it is. You're going to have to beat a higher ranked seed at some point, and then you get past Georgia, and then you're going to have to deal with Ohio State or A&M or Florida, and at that point, I mean, hey, if you're making it to the quarterfinals, or the semifinals, excuse me, hey, just, as Pete Golding would say, spot the ball. Just go out there and play. So some good, interesting matchups there with, Miami taking on A&M. Miami's got as good of a defensive line as anybody in the country. You've got Ruben Bain, who's probably going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. Texas A&M got some really good guys, and Cassius Howell on the front 7. Marcel Reed's been playing good football this year. And then Ohio State's Ohio State. I know Indiana beat them, made them look pretty pedestrian. But Julian Sand's a really good quarterback, and they got pros all over that defense. So, hey, maybe we get a little reunion, Ben, where we get a potential matchup between Ohio State and Ole Miss, and, we get to see our good friends Davison Igbinosun and Tywan Malone again.
Yeah, right.
Two guys who were very good to us. 2 of my favorite guys that I've covered. But yeah, and then you get past the semis. I mean, come on. What more do you want?
Well, the only pushback I would have to this bracket is I think Ole Miss should have been 5 and Oregon should have been the 6, and that way the path would have had fresher matchups. I understand where Zachary Rogers is coming from about the playoff committee setting up Ole Miss with 2 opponents they've played already. Seems like they're trying to delegitimize Ole Miss's season. Really sucks. I don't know if it's that nefarious. I think it has more to do with travel and TV. You don't want to send Tulane out to I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's a legitimization, if that's a word, of Ole Miss's season. But certainly Georgia at 3 as the SEC champion doesn't make a lot of sense. And you'd think you'd want to see them diversify and maybe put them where Ohio State is, and then Ohio State at 3, so Ole Miss could draw them first. I mean, 2 matchups is odd. Rematches is odd. I just don't necessarily think that it necessarily has to do with delegitimizing Ole Miss's season that they did that. I just because that's giving the committee, Zach, way too much credit. I don't think they're that good. I don't think that they're that smart. I really don't. But yeah, I can understand the frustration for that. And I think Ole Miss can absolutely win it all. And with this draft, I mean, with this draw that they pulled, yeah, it's. I think it should have been different. I think they should have been the 5. Oregon should have never jumped them to begin with. But you know, I at the end of the day, this time last week we were talking about would Ole Miss be prevented from hosting because Lane Kiffin went on a propaganda tour trying to get all his friends at CAA and the national media to say if you don't let him coach, then you're screwed. And Ole Miss just continued to win and continued to do his job, and it got rewarded. Any word asked at Chad Anderson? Any word on Trinidad Chambliss's waiver? Nope. I promise you, if and when there is word on Trinidad Chambliss's waiver, we will tell you at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, and Fit on 3, here at Riverland Roofing's Talk of Champions podcast. You know,
I did appreciate the AT&T commercial and just the subtle troll. That was good. I don't think that's reading too much.
And make no mistake, all of that was intentional. Everything about that was intentional. Everything about that. And there's no doubt that like Lane's going to try to get Trinidad Chambliss to come to LSU if he does get the waiver. There's no guarantee that he's going to get the waiver. It's just not.
He might. Lane might already have a quarterback by the time the waiver's approved.
Ooh. Who you think? Wait. What do you mean by that? Tell the people now. Don't be all like.
I mean, I think Sam Levitt
with it, bro.
Sam Levitt from Arizona State. He announced he was wanting to leave, and Arizona State had a kind of a team. I don't know if it's called a banquet or they had some kind of meeting with all the captains there. And Sam Levitt is a captain, and he wasn't there.
Man, this era is so. That's the stuff. It's not about player movement and players getting paid. Like, that's great. It's this stuff. A captain not going to, you know, you're a captain, man, and it's just bizarre. We've delegitimized so much of it. And
Kenny Dillingham pretty much at the event was just basically like, we wish Sam well and whatever he does. So
think about that. Think about if and the best offensive player of the year goes to Kewan Lacey. Hey, Kewan isn't here. He's already left for LSU. He's on a visit. I mean, think how bizarre this is. None of this makes any sense. And the fact that it's all happening right now in the midst of the postseason. That's what's so freaking
even more. Yeah,
it's like college football is intentionally trying to destroy itself. And dang it, if they aren't doing a pretty damn good job of it either.
And I'll say this, if you want to continue on the keeping it juicy and fresh here, if Trinidad Chambliss gets another year, I think he stays at Ole Miss.
I do too.
Especially I think he stays, but definitely staying as long as Joe Judge is in town.
Yeah, somebody asked that. Let me find that in the chat. What is Joe Judge doing? Joe Judge is the quarterback's coach. He hasn't left.
Quarterback's coach. I have not heard one word.
They had a walkthrough this morning. They went through practices. He put Trinidad Chambliss and Austin Simmons and AJ Maddox through their regular practice schedule. That's what Joe Judge is doing.
Yeah, I have not heard a single inkling of doubt or anything about him leaving. I think he likes his job. He likes where he's at. He likes working with quarterbacks. I think it's been a nice kind of reset for him after.
He ain't going to follow Lane to LSU. I promise you that.
No. Look, it's been very evident at players for sure, because they're just coming out and just downright saying it. But it's a lot of honest takes coming out about Lane Kiffin, if you will. Trinidad, he's got a shot. I mean, you're starting to see more and more guys getting waivers. I saw a couple guys today. They got an extra year. Look, I mean, didn't he hire Pavia's attorney? I think I saw that.
Yeah.
The same guy.
What I would say is like in this new era, man, I forget all the all the different levers that you have to kind of like pull to get these things done, all the different all the bureaucratic crap you got to go through to make stuff happen. At the end of the day, like pretty much anything goes. Like they're granting waivers like it's nothing. It would be a surprise to me, even though honestly the case more, if you're really going by uniform criteria, there's a better case that he doesn't deserve an extra year that he does, but none of that matters. Like at this point, it's just do what you want to do. So I think that Trinidad is going to get that waiver. And if he does get that waiver, I think he's going to be Ole Miss's quarterback next year. And if he's Ole Miss's quarterback, they've already got Reese Weiss signed. They got that done on Wednesday. He's the freshman. AJ Maddox, got to see what happens with him, of course. Austin Simmons, I mean, I think he's going to transfer, especially if Trinidad gets the waiver. I think if Austin's the guy coming back, I think Ole Miss has a better chance of holding on to him or making him their quarterback next year. Even still, Deuce Knight, if he gets in the portal, I think he's coming to Ole Miss. And Ole Miss and a bunch of other schools, they all do it. They all pre-portal, every single one of them. Winnie Watkins was getting hit up after Georgia, right? It'd be naive or it'd be just downright full of crap if you said that Ole Miss wasn't pre-portaling either. Every single school does, and that just speaks to what I'm talking about here in regards to Trinidad's waiver. Anything goes. Anything goes. Yeah. Like you don't even have to worry about asking for forgiveness later. Most people just say, well, that was a different time. This is quite literally everything. If you think you can get it done, go for it. And I think Trinidad will get his waiver, and when he does, if he does, because again, it's not a guarantee, and the case against is actually much stronger than for. But I think the NCAA and the fecklessness of that organization has made clear that they're going to do whatever because they want to be absolved of any and all blame. Said this is what y'all want, so I think that'll happen. What's the word on Kevin Smith at Old Rebel? He's here to coach the playoffs. Then I fully believe he's going to LSU afterwards. What about you, Zach?
Yeah, probably. Him and Charlie Weiss were the two that I assume would go with Lane. They've been with him since FAU. They're pretty tight. I think he wants to stay and coach his guys. I respect that. He wants to see this out. I think a lot of it too is you give credence to Pete Golding. Like these guys want to coach with Pete. Like I
love the frankness of Pete, man, where he's like, hey, listen, I told Charlie Weiss, I said, dude, I don't give a shit about 2026. Do your job. Like it can be that basic. Y'all want to keep getting swept up in the reality show of it, man. I want Ole Miss to win a title. So if Pete Golding decides that the best path for Ole Miss to win a title is to bring these coaches back, and I know what immediately the question is though from opposing fans. Well, why didn't you let Lane then? Because that's a totally different thing.
Yeah,
that's a totally different thing to me. You're talking about a head coach, a CEO that has a full like a 2-month period. Where not only could he absolutely derail your playoff stuff, but like the recruiting class, the transfer portal, it's untenable. You can't let that guy know all your spreadsheets and your strategy and this, that, and the other. Billy Glasscock can't be the GM for 2 months. This is his time to get his job done. And he's doing it for LSU, so get him out of the building. And more than that, Lane knew. Lane knew when he started, he was leaving this year no matter what. The only reason I said Lane stay twice, I changed my mind 3 times, I said Lane stay, LSU Lane stay. He left. Lane stay had nothing to do with I'm picking Ole Miss. It was just, could he really do what he has done, which is completely upend a program when you get to the finish line. It's like getting to the finish line, then turning around and sitting your ass on the ground. And just like, it makes no sense. Just intentionally choosing to not finish the race is absolutely bizarre to me. But he did it, and Ole Miss made very clear for weeks. There's no scenario in which you're coaching a playoff bound Ole Miss if you're leaving, and he didn't like that. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too. Well, oh my gosh, it's the consequences of my actions. Assistants are different. They didn't ask for this. They didn't ask for any of this. Talk Champions brought to you by our friends at Riverland Roofing. They got a promotion going on right now. They just put it out on all their socials. They're giving anyone who signs a contract for a new roof while Ole Miss is still in the playoff a free year of maintenance of their maintenance program that includes everything in the picture you see now on your screen. If you want to mention it to your friends, like there's promotional stuff, there's suggestion stuff, man. Riverland Roofing for all your roofing needs, 662-644-4297, riverlandroofing.com. Give them your business. They've been great to us. They'll be even better to you. And right now they're running a deal, and tell your friends about it. Just like I told you, they're running a deal where if you sign up for a roof installation, for a new roof while Ole Miss is in the playoffs, you get a free year of their maintenance. So riverlandroofing.com, 662-644-4297. Our friends at Riverland Roofing, just can't thank them enough, man. They've been great to us. All right. So moving forward now, the rest of the week, what are you most paying attention to for this week in Ole Miss sports? The most important thing for the Ole Miss fan right now, saying, well, staff stuff, of course, recruiting, blah, blah, blah. No, give it to him straight, Zach. Talk your shit. Somebody like the new thing we did. Talk your shit, Zach.
We talked about it earlier. We just kind of talked about it a little bit. We touched on it with, what's Charlie Weiss going to do? What's Joe Cox and George McDonald and Kevin Smith? Look, I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but these guys want to come back and they want to coach, and people are just going to have to get over it. All right. Like, look, this isn't a movie. This isn't Netflix or, there's some drama where like these guys are, sleeper cells that are going to come back. And also you mentioned like, Kiffin trying to steal stuff. Like it's going to be completely different in 2026. So like, okay, Kiffin, cool. Like you can steal the quote secrets. Like Pete's probably going to just change everything next year. But yeah, as far as like paying attention to right now as an Ole Miss fan, I think Ole Miss fans can finally exhale and enjoy it. Like next week's going to be awesome. Like who cares about it being a rematch against Tulane? And yeah, you beat them 45-10 and maybe it's not going to be, it's going to be fun. I don't know. If any of my teams like beat the hell out of somebody, I think it's fun. Like yesterday, the Titans won. The Titans won their second game of the year. Whatever. It was fun no matter how it happened. They tried to throw it away at the end. Still got to win. So winning football games is going to be fun, especially at home in Oxford. It's going to be a lot of fun. 2:30. I mean, I think that's like the perfect slot because you're going to get a little bit of daytime. Then it's basically a night game at this time of the year. I think Ole Miss fans need to finally enjoy it because I think the fan base has been held prisoner by Lane Kiffin for the past couple weeks where you just couldn't even enjoy being 11-1. I think Ole Miss fans need to enjoy this. First ever college football playoff appearance. Close last year. If the field was 12, Ole Miss would have been in a couple times already, but you're in. You get a really good draw. And then, look, you beat Tulane, and then, hey, see what happens. Go down to New Orleans, play in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. Who knows? I think this is just my opinion. I think Georgia's going to have to sit around and wait. I think that affects the team. I don't care mentally. I think that affects you. I think if I was a player or I was a coach, I would want to keep playing. Like I would want to get in a rhythm because it's a long layoff. They did just play on Saturday. I understand that, but Alabama didn't put up much of a fight. So, yeah, I think that's my main message right now. If you're saying like, what do Ole Miss fans need to focus on or appreciate or whatever, enjoy being in the college football playoff, being 11-1, and yeah, for once having a head coach that is not going to do all this, Twitter meme stuff and all of that. It's just a ball coach, just a guy that's going to go out there and try to find the best players, put the best players on the field, and win games. I do kind of think it's going to be fun to see Pete Golding on the sideline again. I want to see the mannerisms. I want to see the body language. I want to see him get after it because he was on the sideline when he first got to Ole Miss, if I remember correctly.
He was on the sideline at Bama the whole time.
Yeah, it was definitely because Saban wasn't going to let his defensive coordinator be in the booth. He wanted that guy right there next to him. That's kind of how Saban's always been. I know Muschamp was down there with him when he was at LSU. Yeah, he's always going to want somebody next to him. But yeah, I think that's going to be fun. See Pete get out there, let his hair down a little bit, and I think that's refreshing too. Like you're not going to have to like figure out what Pete's trying to say. Is he speaking through the media? Is he talking? No, he's just going to tell you how it is. You could hear that on the Zoom call yesterday. I thought that was great. Like him just talking about, I don't care about playing tennis or whatever. He's just gonna,
Or when he said how I love when I talk when I play anything, if I'm playing tennis, I want to whoop even if it's against my wife, I want to whoop her ass. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
love that kind of stuff, dude.
Said
Just
he, said he
spot the ball, dude.
wasn't gonna change how he dresses. Like he's not gonna do any hot yoga or anything. I mean,
Yeah, right.
That was pretty blatant. But
I mean, in the Twitter stuff, dude. Yeah, there's some of it like he wasn't even trying to be subtle with it. Hey, look, talk like I said, talk your shit, and that's all anybody wanted with Lane, anyways. Like just own your stuff, man, and be honest about it. He didn't want to because he wants to always play victim.
That's the thing, man. If he had just come out and just said, "Look, I want to go to LSU. I'm really sorry. I just want to go there." It still would have sucked. People would have been mad.
Sure.
But if you're upfront and honest, instead of doing this whole circus and the will he or won't he like bullshit, like if you had just come out and just been honest and just said, look, I want to go there. To me, it's a bigger program. I think it's a better job for me. Thank you for everything. See you later. It would have been accepted a whole lot different. I mean, look, you can look in the media right now and see everybody in the backlash. I mean, Pat McAfee was on College Game Day on Saturday pretty much saying he told Lane to stay. And then, Lane Kiffin, was supposed to be on game day, but got wind of, hey, Lane, not everybody's going to kiss your ass on the show. They're going to press you for some, they're going to ask the hard questions. He didn't want that. As the kids would say, Ben, he didn't want that smoke. He didn't want to get pressed on national TV. Because that's Kiffin. Like, he wants to control the message. He wants to be in charge of his image and how he is perceived. He wasn't going to be able to do that on College Game Day.
Yes, that's why he didn't. It stung when he when he was told that he was for the streets because he lost part of the power dynamic. Just like it hurt him, it stung when the ultimatum stuff that came out from Ole Miss, which turned out to be absolutely true. He lost the power. That's all he cares about. He's Regina George as an SEC head coach in a 50-year-old man's body, petty and vindictive. Oh. So you think you're pretty? That's Lane Kiffin. That's who he is. He's just
maybe he'll text us again.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. But whatever. He's done. He's gone. What is Ole Miss's biggest need in the portal, according to Kevin O'Dare at 4878? What's Ole Miss's biggest need in the portal? I would say offensive line.
Yeah. Probably need
a wide receiver depending on departures. But if they don't have much departures, like Caden Lee can return, but then I see him pop up as a transfer candidate list on LSU, that would surprise me, to be honest with you, knowing Caden like I do. That would
shock me.
That would surprise me. But Dane Stevens was the person who found Caden Lee. Now he's the quarterback's coach at Ole Miss. But I don't think that matters when you're a senior, for goodness sake, when you spend, I don't know. Ben, we don't really drink, but one day we'll have to sit around, have one beer and chat about you're a humble genius and all this. That is very kind of you. And I will gladly drink a tall, ice-cold mug of Modelo or Dos Equis anytime you want to do it. I just wanted to acknowledge you, William, and thank you for that. That was a very kind thing. And for all the people that have just been encouraging, man, it's been really cool. It's been fun. And it's been a blessing from God just to meet so many more Ole Miss people and to introduce y'all to the Ole Miss Spirit and talk a champion, all this thing, man. Y'all good people, man.
I've had so many random people reach out to me after everything.
Yeah.
Like, wait, you know that guy? Or like you work with him? Like,
wait, that's the dude. That's the obnoxious guy that interrupts you all the time on Talk of Champions. Oh, that guy? Yeah,
Yeah, and everybody was supportive and laughing, and they were like, "Yeah, he called it." Like, I mean, that was what was so funny to me was like, Lane wouldn't have done that if he didn't know that you were, if he didn't agree you were right. Like, he knew that you called him out. He was mad.
He hated it. He didn't mind being called a leopard, not change his spice. But buddy, you call him something else. Hit dog hollers. All right.
Maybe he just hates Ludacris, which is
Greg Stanky taking a picture with Ludacris was quite hilarious. I must say. And you can't tell me he didn't do that specifically because of.
I would love to talk to Ludacris about this because he has to. He knows. He knows what happened.
Uh-oh. Have we frozen you up?
Am I? I don't think so.
Oh, I'm sorry, you froze up on my end. That would be so funny, dude. If like Greg Sankey knows exactly what he's doing. He's putting out that stuff, man. He's leaning into it. He's leaning into it. I want to touch on something before we get out of here. Ole Miss basketball is the best right now, man. Break it down for me. They've lost 4 straight. The game against St. John's. Give like I don't know, man. Should Ole Miss fans? This is Chris Beard has said it. This is he's never been in a situation like this before.
Yeah.
What do you make of Ole Miss basketball? Can they recover from this?
Sure. Chris Beard's a top 10 coach in college basketball. Absolutely. I think going up to the Garden, the house that Billy Joel built, and losing to right now, a mediocre to decent St. John's team, not a great look. I think Malik Dia and some of those older guys in that locker room are going to have some hard conversations with people and have some hard conversations with themselves. I think Malik Dia would be the first person to tell you that too. He'd tell you that he hasn't been playing the way he should be playing. He hasn't been a leader.
He hadn't been the guy. He hadn't had the year they needed him to.
But like, Elias Commerdine's gonna have to grow as a player. You can still kind of see the Euro ball in him. A lot of ISO stuff. He's still learning how to play in Chris Beard's system. But look, you're not going to win a lot of games if AJ Storr is scoring 2 points. And I'm not trying to pile on because he's been great. I think he's been a lot better than people thought that he would be so far. But 2 points, you're not going to win a lot of ball games. I think right now you're going to need a lot more. I mentioned Dia. I think Keza Giff has been a lot better than people thought he'd be upon arrival. You're going to need somebody else to step up. I think Patton Pinkins can be that guy, but he's a youngster. He's a pup. He's only a freshman. Somebody like Corin Johnson, I know he's probably not 100%, but you're going to need him to get well and to be a difference maker. I mean, these are all guys that were brought in from the portal. And I think, Augusto Casilla, James Scott, Corey Chess, like those guys, they know their role. I think they understand what they were brought in to do, and I think they just have to be a little bit better at it. Corey Chess played well. He had 10 rebounds against St. John's. That's a good front court that Patino's got up there. So, it's not going to get any easier because the SEC's hard. But look, if you're an Ole Miss fan, I know it's been rough, but hey, you've got the right guy coaching. So you saw what he did last year, got him to the Sweet 16. I mean, probably, in my opinion, should have been in the Elite Eight, should have beat Michigan State. But Tom Izzo is inevitable. But look, Chris Beard's again top 10 coach in college basketball. Like if there's anybody that can get it fixed, it's going to be him. So it's been tough, but you've seen this team play at a high level, so they can find it again.
That's a good point. Like that's what I would say. Regardless of how this year plays out, it's been a mess. Diagnosing what's wrong, it starts with, AJ Storr's been at 8 places in 8 years. Shocker that he has not been a consistent person for you or player. Same thing with Malik Dia, not the traveling, but the inconsistency both on and off. Elias Carmodine's kind of hit the wall. I mean, he's coming over from and playing a different brand of basketball for the first time in his life. It just hasn't meshed. It hasn't meshed yet. I do agree that they have some upside guys that they're excited about, including Patton Pinkins, who I think is going to be a great, great player. But Travis Perry has just not brought them much of anything. And they spent a pretty penny on him in the portal. And you can't have guys like that, especially at that price point. You can't have them sitting or just not contributing to winning basketball in anywhere away, especially when the guys that your other dudes aren't performing either, right? I mean, he has to be.
And that one's. I didn't think Travis Perry was going to come in and average 18 a game.
I didn't either, but dang.
But Kentucky tried to keep him. I mean, Mark Pope was wanting to keep him. So different system, different coach, different style. In these portal teams, it takes a minute to get in a rhythm and to mesh and to figure everybody out. Same with football too. Like we said that a lot about the offensive line and defense. I thought the front seven, the back end needed some time to get used to playing together. Same thing with basketball, man. 5 guys playing on the floor at one time, and if these guys have only been playing together for a month and a half, 2 months, whatever, it's going to take a minute. I thought you saw that last year with this program, with this basketball team. It took them a second. Like, I don't think it really clicked for Ole Miss with Sean Padula kind of being like the guy until, I don't know, January, February, where it was pretty clear cut that he was kind of the driver of that car. But look, it's December 8th as we record this. There's time.
It feels like, dude, it's so much later. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like we should all be going to spring break together soon. You know what I mean? Like we should all be heading out to to go meet. Like it's bizarre. And like I hadn't done any Christmas shopping. Thank God for my wife Emily, who is perfect in every way. Because oh my gosh, the idea that like and almost we played a football game 5 days before Christmas. Oh, but at least we're talking about the football now and not talking about a cult of personality, I suppose. I want to bring this up because somebody touched on it. Jake Schoonover has re-upped his contract per you, Ben. Yes, thank you. As I was talking to y'all might wonder why I look over here all the time because I'm trying to talk to the camera, but here's Zach over here, but also my computer as I'm typing away, trying to do work at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, Flip on 3. Just reported that Jake Schoonover, Ole Miss's special teams coordinator, has officially signed a new deal with Ole Miss. How do you feel about that? It's a big get, man. He's a great recruiter. He's a future head coach, in my opinion. He's on the rise, man, and keeping him is a big deal, mainly for the recruiting piece. I mean, you want to talk about the lead recruiter for Craig Tutt, a number of other ones, Shakai Mills-Knight. Like Shakai Mills-Knight is going to be a transfer candidate regardless because that's who every kid's a transfer candidate now. But if you made me say, hey, which one makes sense? That would make sense. But with Jake Schoonover in tow, Ole Miss has a better chance than not to keep like a guy like that around that they really believe could be something down the road, even if he wasn't something as a true freshman. So big deal for Jake Schoonover, and thank you for bringing that up. As I report on the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, and Flip on 3, sign up for $1. He's re-upped with a new contract with Ole Miss to be on Pete Golding's staff. Not going to go with Lane to LSU, so that's a big deal. If you're unhappy with or shopping your health insurance coverage, call Drew Moke of USA Benefits Group, 601-953-8449. Drew offers regular health, dental, vision, and Medicare supplement plans. He's an Ole Miss grad, services 35 different carriers, and will make sure you're in the right place for you and your family. Call him at 601-953-8449 or visit him online at quoteswithdrew.com. Also, we're proudly sponsored by B&A Bank, my hometown bank, branches in Tupelo and New Albany. They're friends of mine. I know everybody in that office. And as someone who was financially illiterate for way too long, I thank God for these people, and they'll be happy to help you as well. B&A Bank, it's more than a bank, man. It's friendship, in my opinion. 662-534-8171. That's B&A Bank, 662-534-8171. Also, our thanks to Tannehill Carmen Real Estate and Title. They've served Oxford for over 20 years. Criminal defense, personal injury, real estate, probate, and estate planning. Are you trying to buy a condo? Are you attempting to climb the property ladder? Upsizing, downsizing, buying recreational property? Give Zach Bonner and his team at ToC a call today at 662-200-8734, 662-200-8734. And if you're sick of your job or ready to leave the corporate rat race, Andy Ludicky, he's the man to call, franchise consultant at My Perfect Franchise. He helps people find franchises that fit their skill sets, passions, and financial requirements. His services are 100% free. So go in business for yourself and get some good advice from my guy, Andy Ludicky. He's here to help you with any and all questions about business ownership. It's myperfectfranchise.com, 404-973-9901, 404-973-9901. All right, so I almost called you Brad. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm losing names today. I feel like, the lack of sleep has caught up to me. Everything's kind of like caught up to me. But when asking you, sign up for $1. Mary gets the assignment. Thank you, Mary. She's a dedicated listener, and she's awesome. She also says that I'm her Ginger Shrek side piece, which Mary, you flatter me. But Mary got the assignment. The Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, if you live on 3. Sign up today for $1. Jake Schoonover re-upping is a big deal. But for the rest of the week, what I'm most watching for, hopefully some practice reports. Now, we don't get any practice viewing as the media this week, Zach. Next week we do. But a nice change of pace. This week you'll actually hear from some Ole Miss assistant coaches. Assistant coaches can finally talk again. So we'll be talking to, I don't know who, but I hope we get Charlie Weiss.
That's allowed?
Yeah. but I want Charlie Weiss, Joe Cox, George McDonald, like I want those guys. Hey, guys, are you sticking around? Are you recruiting for LSU? Because it is a legitimate concern for Ole Miss fans. It looks bad optically at worst, or at least. So I understand it a little bit. I'm watching for the staff stuff, but also some return of football and hopefully Ole Miss basketball figuring out a way to get back on track. It's been just a tough start for them. And Chris Beard and them are searching. But so the recruiting piece, you say for now you're not really like no one's really on the forefront to pop for Ole Miss. You think you're not? What about transfer portal targets for you though? Because I didn't let you answer that.
I mean, I've been banging the Colton Joseph drum all year. Guy's a ton of fun. He was the quarterback at Old Dirty, which if you're not hit that line, regular listener, that is Old Dominion. He entered the portal, dude threw for almost 3,000 yards, ran for over 1,000. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the offense. And his offensive coordinator is also very interesting. So if Ole Miss is at some point looking for an offensive coordinator, maybe you get a little 1-2 there with a coordinator and a quarterback. As far as position groups, though, I mean, I think you always got to look up front in the trenches. You always got to look for an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman. Impact guys at those positions are expensive, but Ole Miss has proven it can go out and find those guys. I think I think Ole Miss will be okay at wide receiver. I think you bring back Caden Lee, you bring back Deuce Alexander, you bring back Winston Watkins, Caleb
Cunningham, ideally.
Caleb Cunningham I think he'll be a factor next year.
I think he's going to be a breakout next year. I'm not just saying that. I think if he stays, I mean, he's already been pre-portal too. All these kids have.
Yeah.
There's a reason why state people are like, oh, we're going to get him, wink, wink, is because that's they targeted him a long time ago. In-state kid, former top prospect of Mississippi. And you got to give state a lot of credit, man. I mean, what they were able to do to finish out recruiting last week was pretty impressive. Braylon Womack going to state is an impressive thing to me. I don't know what kind of impact it'll make in year one. I don't think freshmen are like that anymore. But I think state's got some stuff to look forward to. And Kamario Taylor's a good player. And they've pre-portaled Caleb Cunningham, but if he sticks around, and last I talked to him, which was on a field at North Pontotoc, he was watching Emmanuel Tucker, who signed, play against North Pontotoc, and he said, I'm good. And he admitted he should have gotten here in the spring, but he's a great kid. Whatever he ends up doing, hopefully he sticks around, and I think that's what he'll do. But if he doesn't, what a great kid, man. And you just wish the best for him.
Do you think Kamario Taylor's the quarterback at Mississippi State next year? I do, because
it's gonna cost him a lot of money.
Yeah, he's a legacy. He's been like all Mississippi State. Like he never wavered. Like I talked to him at a couple camps, and like even after like Ole Miss added Zach Arnett to the staff, and I was like, hey, the former coach that you committed to is at Ole Miss. Are they on the radar? And he was always just like, no, it's just all Mississippi State. I'm going to Mississippi State. So, but yeah, it's going to cost them. But I mean, you want to talk about a resume game, the Egg Bowl. I mean, he put some stuff on tape that can get you paid. Now, I could get him paid at Mississippi State. Could also get him paid somewhere else. But
yeah, including Ole Miss. I'm just saying.
Just saying. I mean, I think
like Ole Miss is playing that game too. Like State fans go, wait a second, no, you better stop that. Don't you put that voodoo on me. And then I want to be like, dude, you've been talking about Caleb Cunningham. Of course, Ole Miss is like, dang, Kamario Taylor, yeah, especially if they could drop a bag on him. I don't know, man. I was impressed in the Egg Bowl. It wasn't Kamario Taylor's fault that offense was kind of stagnated. I mean, Kamario, they got something with him now.
He's got some juice to him. He's still got a little bit of ways to go throwing the football, but I mean, you can't deny the athleticism and the speed.
I mean, if his floor is KJ Jefferson, you're talking about I mean, like that's his floor. And like KJ Jefferson wasn't great, but like he had his moments and he won some games. And dude, he'll get them like by his elite athleticism alone will get them bowl eligible. I'm talking about. I think he could be something way more than that. If I started telling you what I really thought at the Egg Bowl that day, even though he's so far away from it, you'd go, Ben, you're an idiot. And you would probably be right. You would probably be justified. But I'm thinking, dang, man, tell me he's not Cam Newton, man. Tell me he's not dude, like maybe Cam Newton when he was at JUCO. Where did he go to JUCO? I can't remember. Yeah, Blinn. And who did Ole Miss get? Ole Miss got from Blinn, Philander Moore.
Wait.
Was it Blinn? Yeah, Philander Moore came from. Does anyone else remember Ole Miss great Philander Moore? Anyone else?
Great name.
Fantastic name. No. All name team.
Iowa Western. I was going to make a Chester Graves joke, but he was Iowa Western.
Where is Chester these days? You think he's going to sign with Ole Miss, Zach?
Yeah.
Sure.
Him and DJ Law. I'm glad I'm going to the game, Ben, because Joe Tessitore is doing the Tulane Ole Miss game.
That's your man. That's your man.
Can't do that.
That's your man. What are you talking about? That's your man.
If I was not going to be at the game, the TV would be on mute.
Joe Tess, I met him at SEC Media Days. I really like him. I think he's awesome, and I enjoy listening to him. So, you know, everybody likes what they like what you like, man. I'm not.
He's probably a nice man. Not everything has to be. You don't have to holler about everything.
You say, while we love David Kellum, the best there ever has, best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. I'm just saying, Yellum Kellum, I love my guy. It's okay to get excited about what you like. Who cares? Who cares?
Gus is kind of the best. Like he knows when.
Ovo Bell. Joe Tess is a great commentator to me. I agree. I like old Joe Tess. Have you ever heard him call a wrestling match?
I say he's good at boxing. He's great.
Guy.
He's great when calling a boxing match.
Well, we're wrapping up now. Yesterday, y'all might be wondering, man, I'm just everywhere, bro. Last night, for those watching ToC of Champions yesterday, I gave my testimony at church. And you'll be shocked to hear that the viral thing came up. And I got to give a hat tip. I'm only showing you this because Jeff Pipkin, my friend on the drums, with the perfect
money ain't going to make you happy. That trip of the lifetime is really only going to be for a moment. Going viral ain't going to make you happy. Trust me, I know. My man. That Bill, my guy. Is this enough for you? If this is all it is, if this is the blessing, is this enough for you? Because it used to not be for me. Praise be to God from whom all blessings flow. Money ain't going to make.
So I want to hat tip my guy Pip, dude.
That's pretty good. That wasn't scripted. That was him just
off the cuff, dude.
Okay.
Right off the cuff. I love that. Oh, Ovo, he's Cameron Bell on the Ole Miss Spirit. 0-3. Thank you, friend. Thank you for being on the board, for hanging with us here. He asks us questions all the time. He's awesome. He's there at the Ole Miss Spirit. I'm there, Zach. Come on. You know?
I really hope the OVO is not for who I think it is. But nevertheless, Cameron's an active and appreciated member of the community at the Ole Miss Spirit. Speaking of testimony, Ben, Brandon Walker is apparently crashing out on Twitter because there are rumblings that Mississippi State might fire Chad Bumpus, which is wild to me.
Whoa.
Like, that's a choice.
Bring Chad Bumpus to Ole Miss wide receivers coach. Oh, there's no way, Chad.
No.
There's no way. There's no way.
I don't think there's a
I also never would have thought, though, Zach, that Bradley Sowell would put on Mississippi State maroon and white and be a coach for them for a little bit. We're living in the upside down, folks. You'll not understand this yet.
Maybe. I don't know
Chad Bumpus is going to get fired at State. That's insane.
I don't know if there's a dollar figure that Chad Bumpus would take to wear Ole Miss stuff and coach for Ole Miss.
Oh, that would be amazing. Keep an eye on that and all other things at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, Foot of On 3. Thank y'all for joining us. Over 3,000 here watching us live. So many thousands more watching on the replay. We love it. We love talking to y'all and engaging with y'all in the comments. The regulars like Mary and William, y'all just been great. Cameron Bell, who's also with us at the Ole Miss Spirit, our website that we write and work for. Subs have gone nuts. The On 3, our corporate overlords, are very thrilled with things and And more than that, man, the community's never been better. And I want us to foster a community at the Ole Miss Spirit that's available to every Ole Miss fan to feel comfortable to come in and talk about the Rebels, because that's all this is, man. It ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. And over at the Ole Miss Spirit, we just want to have fun and talk about it with you. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all of you that tuned in last night when I gave my testimony. All I took away from it was, damn, Ben, you got to lose about 20 pounds, man. You got to get some shape about you. You're pale enough. You're ginger enough. The least you can do is do some push-ups, Ben. Golly, can't even wear a sweater looking good because you look like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But that's for my own self-hate, and God is good. We're not going to do that anymore. Thank you, Zach. I'll see you soon.
See you, buddy. Hi, Lane.